This is your morning brief for Friday, May 3rd. Skyworks beats revenue and earnings estimates, but shares are down a little bit. They were down a little bit in after hours. They were down a little bit less in pre-market today. So I think this is kind of a normal reaction. Shares had run up coming into earnings, and it was in line. Well, it was actually a little bit of a beat. It was a bit of a beat. So revenue came in at 810 million. The previous year was 913 million, but they've well telegraphed a slowdown, as many semis have. So this should not be a surprise. In fact, it's not. They beat earnings and revenue. Earnings per share came in at $1.47 versus $1.64 the previous year. Again, that's been telegraphed. That should be known. So really, like I said, the shares ran up a little bit before the earnings. Then the earnings came out and they pulled back a little bit. But over the last week, they're actually, the shares are up. So I am not changing anything on Skyworks. I think it's a great company. So we'll do a video on that one. I think I have an older one, which is probably still applicable, but we'll try and get a new one out. Under Armour beats estimates and shares rise 3%. Okay, so this is a turnaround situation. We think it's kind of finally hit the bottom. We think so. It's really hard to call 100%, but it really does look like it in our data that it's kind of hit that bottom. We always look for that inflection point where return on capital in a turnaround situation finally starts to kind of uptick just a little bit. It gives you a little bit more confidence. And sometimes you miss some of the shares upside, but sometimes you don't. And oftentimes you save yourself a whole lot of risk. So it looks like Under Armour's right at that inflection point. Generac generates revenue and earnings surprises of 18% and 5% respectively. Shares were up yesterday on that. That was the earnings were released yesterday. And so that's a good little name. We've liked that for a while. They actually make generators. So they kind of have done always really well, but really when these hurricanes have been hitting the U.S. really strong, it's actually a good boost for them. But you shouldn't buy it just based on that. It's a good company anyways. Cognizant misses estimates badly and lowers guidance. Shares dropped 8%. They're down again today in pre-market. This is quite disappointing because we've owned this for many years. It's done great over the years, don't get me wrong, but it always stings a little bit, even if you've done really well on the shares, to take a bit of a hit. And I would say this is not an opportunity just yet, at least. It may present itself to be an opportunity, down the road, but this is genuinely bad news. This isn't just like some little, sometimes you get a little bit of minor tick down or something, or, these things aren't straight line. They're not ATMs. But this is a bad miss. And they lowered guidance. It's just bad. So I got to figure out what to do with those shares because, it's down, 8% already. It's down another 5%. So it's without doing the compounding interest, which I can't do in my head. It's down 13%. Probably warranted though. Okay, Square misses as well, sending shares lower by 7%. And see, this is a different situation than Cognizant. Okay, so this is a startup, and they're just going to be all over the map. It's just going to be crazy. What are earnings estimates even mean at this point? So missing them doesn't seem like a big deal to me. Excuse me. This is more about the long term and what do you really think. Of course, I can't predict this, and nobody can, but Square, by all accounts, is a pretty good company. And it's a speculative, interesting one, and one that you can play and take, maybe a smaller position to mitigate your risk, I think. Activision beats top and bottom line, but lowers guidance and shares fall. So we've seen this a few times. This more often than normal this quarter. So Activision beats, yet the lower guidance and the shares not so good. I do think Activision's getting close to a buy though. I'm quite curious. I haven't made a full call on it yet, but I'm definitely leaning towards buying. All right, futures are up in pre-market. That's great. So looks like we're going to end the week pretty strong, and it has not been the best week. I wanted to say, there are a ton of earnings out there. We just scratched the surface here of some of the names we follow. But there's a bunch more out there, and we just cannot get to them all in a morning brief. Impossible. Okay, just a little bit of NHL news. Bruins and Avalanche even their series at 2-2 versus the Blue Jackets and the Sharks, respectively. And the Hurricanes will try and close out a 4-game sweep over the Islanders tonight. So tune in if you're an NHL fan. And that's your morning brief for Friday, May 3rd. Let's go find some gems.